It is time for Around the 412 with Smitty and Tyler.
Welcome back to another episode of Around the 412. I am Tyler. With me, as always, is my co-host Smitty. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Around the 412. Also, if you're not watching the show there already, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video that we upload. And also go follow us on the listening platforms as well. Leave a 5-star review. And also check out the description of the show. We got all the links to our great sponsors, and you can check them out there. This is the Pirates episode, and we are officially 1 week into the Donnie Kelly era. You say that, but it's more so. Wouldn't it be more so this right now because they're 500 in the Donnie Kelly?
Well, yeah,
area?
That wasn't towards Donnie Kelly or anything like that. It's just about the state of the team in general. I hate the.
You don't even know what we're talking about if you're not watching it on YouTube. Go subscribe. We're not even going to tell you what we did.
Yeah, there were some gestures that were given in there. Honestly, let's start with something that's not their fault, but it just feels like because it's the Pirates, this is going to happen. Hunter Barco, who is a pitching prospect, who's just been rising through the ranks, moved up to AAA, and I thought that was a sign that Bubba Chandler was maybe on his way up to the majors, and Hunter was going to replace him. Got hurt today. Noah Hiles put out the video of it happening, and it didn't look great. No idea what the injury is, how long he's going to miss, or anything like that, but that's so Pirates. So I honestly am starting to feel like the Pirates were put here for their fans to be. It's like an endurance thing, I guess. How much can you endure as a sports fan? The Pirates are like the ultimate litmus test. They prepare you for anything else that you're going to endure as a sports fan for your other teams. That's the sole purpose for them existing. It's not to actually like root for them or them to win anything. It's just to prepare you for what your other teams are going to put you through as well.
I think that's a fair assessment. I don't think that's far off. I always say that the Pirates by far are the hardest team to root for out of the ones that I'm a fan of. And
dude, if you're a Pirates fan, like a true Pirates fan, you can get through anything in life. I like fully believe that.
Surely, because that's not to say that like I haven't had struggles with any of my other fandom, but nothing has been so deep as the Pirates struggles.
Consistent.
Nothing has been as prolonged. Literally my entire life, our entire lives outside of 3 years, technically 4 because they had that weird winning season in 2018, even though if you ask anybody, was the 2018 Pirates good? They'll say no. They just made a stupid trade that set back.
In a lot of ways, yeah, I was saying in a lot of ways, 2018 was worse than them just being bad.
Yeah, so I think that you're kind of spot on with it. The Pirates are the team that you are a fan of that makes the hurt go away for your other teams. You realize it's not as bad as it can be. And with those other teams that you're fans of, there's probably a light at the end of the tunnel. As a Pirates fan, that light, that's way behind you. It's gone. You're never going to see that light again.
It's behind you. You can't turn around.
You're never, there's no reverse. You don't know when it's going to show up again. It's probably never going to, except you look that dark tunnel in the face and you accept it, and you still are a fan of this team. Obviously, we have our judgments about this team. We have our opinions about the franchise and everything like that, but somehow we still show up. We still, I won't say watch all of the games. We pay attention to what's going on still, and we're here. So yeah, this is definitely by far the worst team that I am a fan of to root for, because there is no hope.
Think about it. As a sports fan, you're a fan of sports because of what reason? Memories that they create, the hope that you're going to watch your team win it all, right? Like somewhere within that realm is why you are a fan of sports. What that brings me to this. What the hell is the point of being a Pittsburgh Pirates fan? Because that's not going to happen. Like I am a Pittsburgh Pirates fan because my dad was, so I feel like I was just born into it. I've had season tickets, not have. I had season tickets for a good portion of my life, whether it was through my dad's work or me individually getting them. And like sitting here now, I'm like, why? And why is like the fandom so deep rooted where I can't just give it up? I want to. Like I feel like I've become such a casual fan of the sport in general because of the Pirates and just the financial structure of the league in general. But the payoff of being a sports fan doesn't even exist for the Pirates. So at the end of the day, I'm asking myself and everybody else this question: what is the point of being a Pittsburgh Pirates fan?
I think that's a fair question. I think that is
You got an answer?
That is a fair question that I think deserves a legitimate answer. And I think that who that question should be poignant at is Bob Nutting. What is the point of being a fan of
I saw
you're producing?
And this isn't a shot at all to oh wait, was it Jason Matty or Noah Hiles? Damn. Either way, not a shot at them at all. Love the work that both of them do. But they said something about Bob Nutting like being pissed off about how the team's doing this year or something like that. Listen, like, don't get me wrong. Shelton sure had to go. Sherrington had to go. The people that he put in place, he did not make the right choices. Man, at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror. That is numero uno for why they're in the position that they are. And it's not just this season. Like, to say that you're pissed off about the way this season is going is so short-sighted. Because
I have a great analogy for this. This is how, if anybody has played video games, so if you're a fan of video games, if you played specifically like a battle royale, like Fortnite or Warzone or anything like that, this is like whenever I go off and leave my team by myself, and then I die and cause the rest of my team to die, but I don't blame myself for us dying. I blame everybody else for being good, and then I'm mad that we died, even though I know it's my fault. Bob Nutting is me when I go off on myself and play Fortnite, and I am the reason that my team dies. He has no right.
I thought the analogy was going to be the meme of SpongeBob looking at the flyer of SpongeBob for who they were looking for.
I mean, essentially, it is the same. What you get to the same point, no matter what. He is the culprit. He should be mad at his own just lack of effort from an ownership standpoint. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do? There's nothing, and that's part of the reason that's the question is such a good question, is like, what is the point of being a Pirates fan? Because really, at the end of the day, what are us as Pirate fans supposed to do if our team is not going to try? And why? Who are we going to ask that question to except ownership? Obviously, ownership will never answer that question. They have answered it for years that there is no point to being a Pirates fan. We're just morons that still show up.
I think that they've answered it, just not verbally. They're letting the actions speak louder, and people are just including myself. By the way, this is not like me bashing people that are going to games or bashing people that are just like, I don't even want to say fans, but loyalists. I think that's a better word, because there's nothing that this team could do to change them being loyal to them, and that's admirable. I have no issue with that. More power to you. Never going to tell anybody how to be a fan, as long as they don't tell me how to do the same thing. It's those people, tip of the cap to you, because I don't know how this team isn't pushing you away at least a little bit. The unwavering support, it's like I said, it's commendable, because that could not be me. I feel like I was that person a decade ago, which is crazy to think now. Man, I'm old. But now when I look at it, like I start out watching a good portion of Pirates games. I'm telling you right now, I've probably finished watching 5 Pirates games this year.
And I'm assuming a couple of those are Skenes starts. Then again, it might not have been, because as soon as Skenes comes out,
well, and
he
doesn't
have any run support.
I can't watch them not hit. Like that's my thing. This team can't hit. Even if Skenes is pitching, this is going to be like sad to say, and I guess I'm telling on myself a little bit here, that I'm not so dialed into Skenes that like him alone is getting me to watch. Like, I can't watch a team not be able to hit. Like, if it's not entertaining to me, I can't. Like, Skenes on his own isn't drawing me in. And there's some people that
I
are.
think that's fair.
So
I think that's fair. And I think that part of that also too is it'd be a little different if Skenes was like literally striking out 10 people a night and letting up 0-1 runs a game. Haven't really seen that over the past month, especially. But even in what would be still deemed quality starts, he's just not getting any support behind him. He's not getting any support from the offense. So it's almost like whatever you do get out of Skenes, it's all for naught. It doesn't even matter because the team is not going to be able to put up a good enough effort behind him in order to be able to get him a win. I mean, I talked about it. I joked about it, how you're going to find yourself in July or August, and Paul Skenes' record is going to be he's going to have like a sub-2 ERA, and his record is going to be like 4-9 because this team cannot get them wins. And he's either going to get a no decision or he's going to get some losses because this team cannot give him any run support. And that's continued to happen. And over the last week, and the reason I started out with this symbol over the Donnie Kelly area, I'm still not going to say what it is. Go watch this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It's because technically they're 500 in the Donnie Kelly era. They won the series against the Braves, lost the series against the Mets. But overall, even despite winning that weekend series against the Braves and losing the series against the Mets earlier this week, I still don't think that the team is overall that different. I think that they found themselves a way to win a couple of games in that Braves series and status quo pretty much for the Mets series. I don't think that being 500 is overall that different. Obviously, being 500 and being able to talk about them after a week and not having a losing record is an improvement, which is sad to say. But we knew, talking about how the coaching change was going to happen, this team was not any different. Because you're bringing in Donnie Kelly, maybe a few things are tweaked that are slightly different. Maybe some bullpen decisions or maybe slightly different things that are going to be happening. But overall, from a talent standpoint, from the product on the field, what you're actually going to see night in and night out, there is no way, despite if Donnie Kelly is the best manager in all of baseball or in baseball history, I don't think there's any chance that you could have turned around this 2025 Pirates team. They just don't have the dogs in the clubhouse to be able to do that.
They don't have the dogs. They don't have the game changers. What's going on, everybody? Smitty from Around the 412, and I just want to take a quick second to give a shout out to our folks at Game Changers. Their logo on the screen right now, right above my microphone. Over 2,000 different designs in their catalog. Luxury heavyweight material. I am wearing one of their shirts right now. Best vintage t-shirts in the game. Head over to gamechanger.la or pick6.la to pick up some shirts. And guess what? Use code AT412. Save yourself $10 on your order every single time. Again, gamechanger.la or pick6.la. Best vintage t-shirts in the game. Check them out. And the person that came in, obviously we're excited for O'Neal Cruz and everything like that, but who we would have said the most consistent hitter coming into this year, Bryan Reynolds, who we were expecting to bounce back from, he sucks. He's been the worst. He's been awful this year. I don't know if I'm not giving him this crutch. I'm just wondering, throwing this out there. I know he was dealing with a forearm early in the season and he was hitting but not fielding. I thought it was weird that he was even hitting with a forearm injury.
Deal with a forearm to the temple at this point in the season because somebody's got to knock some sense into him. He has been awful. I don't think that there's been a bigger disappointment or most damning thing about the 2025 season, period, is Bryan Reynolds. If this team is going to be anything, they need Bryan Reynolds to be the player they signed that contract. You have not gotten that really since the contract has been signed. He's been in a decline going back to last season. And at this season especially, you've seen that decline. On the season, he's now batting 194. I'm not even sure how much Bryan Reynolds weighs, but that's probably close to batting his weight. He might be below batting his weight. But over the last stretch, since Donnie Kelly has taken over as the manager, he has been awful, and I'm not that's just a correlation. That's not a causation for those who are particular. I'm not saying Donnie Kelly has made Bryan Reynolds worse, but somehow, some way, it has just fallen off a cliff over the last week. He is over his last 22 at bats, going back to that first Braves game. He had one hit in that Braves game in 3 at bats. 0 for 22 in his last bats. It is awful right now for Bryan Reynolds. He is single-handedly the biggest disappointment so far in 2025 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't even think it's close. If you were going to be anything, you needed him to play well, and he has just regressed so far from the player that we knew and that got that contract a couple years ago.
And like we've seen him hit without better players around him before. So like I don't know that I can use that.
Look at that 2019 season. I look at the first year he showed up. He was one of the only reasons to go to the ballpark in 2019. But I don't understand where the drop off has happened. Is it really age? I mean, isn't he only like 30 years old? I don't understand where this is coming from. Like it's and to me, it's different too than like Brian Hayes. Brian Hayes still is defensively one of the best players.
That's what I was just say. Reynolds is
he's not even good defensively.
Players in baseball. Yeah. So I mean that was the case before this year. So it's not like the defense has taken some steep decline. He just wasn't good defensively.
No, but at least Brian Hayes has something to add to the team with his defense. Reynolds right now, I think if you just look at the past week and you strip away what he's making as a player, he is almost unplayable for the Pirates, which is crazy for me to say, but he is almost unplayable for how poor he's played this season. I think you're better off just sending out Kutch, 38-year-old Kutch every day.
He's on the opposite of a heater. We call it a Sawinski right now, is Bryan Reynolds. We'll see if he can get out. I'll be honest. I think it's just because we've seen a body of work for him. I have hope that he's going to be able to get out of this. I guess my question is, though, I think that he's kind of proving that he can't be the guy to carry the entire load. Like, so, Cruz right now dealing with injury. He hasn't been put on IL yet, but hopefully that doesn't happen. But, you're getting Spencer Horwitz back, who I don't think is a, needle mover necessarily either. Nick Gonzalez, we'll see when he can get back. These aren't needle movers. They're obviously better players than what they have now. But this just goes to show, like, man, if you want to be taken, like, if this team was going to be taken seriously, if you thought Bryan Reynolds could be the guy to carry that and be the best player on your team, I think you're mistaken. I think he could probably be like the third best player. He's probably the third or further down best player on a really good team.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's so far from what we thought we were getting when he signed that contract. We literally thought that we were getting the guy that was going to turn things around, like what similar to what you saw Kutch. Maybe not this to the same extent. Kutch was an MVP. There was just a different level there. But like you thought you were getting a cornerstone piece of this franchise whenever you signed that Bryan Reynolds contract. And now I'm not even sure that you have somebody that should be on the team in the next upcoming seasons. Like, we'll see how he turns it around. There's a lot left to that contract. But if we're already in year 2 and it's deeming like he just shouldn't even be played right now, that's a pretty bad break. And hopefully he's able to turn things around. Maybe it's just a really, really bad spell. But man, it's tough pill to swallow because of the expectations that you have for a player. But then again, it's a tough pill to swallow being a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. This just really goes back to the full circle of what we've been talking about.
We don't have nice things.
We are given the toughest battles as sports fans. Like I feel like
that means
the comparison is always made, but like. This must be how Browns fans feel. Is it how Browns fans feel, or is it even worse than that?
This is worse.
It's worse than that?
I think so. Browns fans, I mean, I know that the defense wasn't good last year, but like they get to watch Myles Garrett every week, who's one of the best, if not the best defensive players in football. Like there's still something to watch every single Sunday. As a Pirates fan, it's like every 5 days we get to watch Paul Skenes. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess that's the comparison. Every 5 days in baseball as opposed to every Sunday in football. I don't know. I think it's worse for the Pirates personally than it is for the Browns. But if you're looking for a comparison in a different sport, that would have to be it. I don't know. I think there's franchises in other sports that have been further down for longer than the Browns. Browns have made the playoffs twice in the last 5 years.
That's a fair point. Pirates haven't made the postseason since 2015. No idea when they're going to make the postseason next time. And they are I'm not sure
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's ahead of them still, as far as the like
Well, we know it ain't
championship
the
streak
Rockies.
goes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying that.
No. The championship streak goes as far as like the drought that you have, but like 1979, that's approaching 50 years without a championship.
Yep. It'll get there. That'll get there for sure.
Oh,
You think they'll do a ceremony?
I mean, they'll probably do the 50-year anniversary of that World Series, but it'll probably be treated as like a funeral or like a eulogy.
We should honestly
franchise.
do that. We should do an anti-celebration of it. Like make it seem like we're celebrating 50 years of them not winning a championship as opposed to celebrating the team. No, but I mean, man. All right. Well, the last thing that I want to bring up on here, just to go, like the fact this is even a conversation right now, just goes to show the state of the team. Jeff Passan was on Pat McAfee's show, and they were having a legitimate conversation about trading Paul Skenes. Like already, first full season. This is year 2, and we're having a conversation about trading the best pitcher in baseball. Now they said like not going to happen, but the point of me even bringing it up on here is the fact that this was a legit conversation with the top MLB insider on one of the biggest shows in the country, the Pat McAfee show, in his first full season is a joke. And it just goes to show, once again, to bring it back full circle to how he started off this show, there's no point. There is literally no point to being a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, because the thing that we were gift wrapped to save the franchise, to bring the love of baseball back to the city, is being wasted, will continue to be wasted, and every day that he spends as a Pittsburgh Pirate is a waste of time for everybody.
I don't think that, obviously apples to oranges is not, it's not 1-to-1, but I don't think that it's that egregious to say this would be like the Penguins drafting Malkin or Crosby and then just pussyfooting around and not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to thinking about Malkin, but as I was saying that there, I was like, imagine if nothing was capitalized on in the Sidney Crosby window from the Penguins. Because that's how I feel like it kind of was.
Or like they draft Ben in 2004.
Yeah.
They say he has a similar career as far as like statistical standpoint goes, but like they never win a championship with him.
Which honestly,
basically, like, imagine if he was Phillip Rivers. That's really what we're looking at.
I would say there's a lot of luck involved. If you think about it, like bench championships, a lot of luck involved. Like they had to bypass Brady. Like, so Brady being hurt 1 year was a big reason why. That tackle against the Colts after the Jerome fumble, like there's a lot of luck that was involved. There's luck involved in sports in general, but yeah, I mean, that's honestly how I feel. I think the Crosby one to me is more of a one to like, not, it's still not apples to apples, just because salary cap sport, non-salary cap sport, but I think that's probably the closest comparison.
You're getting a potential generational talent and you're just doing nothing, absolutely nothing with it. It blows my mind that the Pirates are just acting like, and I genuinely want to know behind closed doors, like if anybody asked Bob Nutting, what kind of player do you think you have with Paul Skenes, or who would you compare him to in MLB history as far as what kind of player you think you have? And I'm genuinely curious what the answer is going to be, because I don't think that this dude has any sense in the world about the caliber of player that he has and what that means to your franchise. He's not only a player that sells tickets and sells merchandise, he is a player that can, I mean, I know he plays only every 5 days, but he is one of the players that can literally carry your franchise on his back because of what he does or what he's capable of doing every 5 days when he does pitch. And I just don't think that the Bob Nutting or maybe even Ben Sherrington, the guy that drafted him, I don't know that they genuinely know what they are missing out on. And I think that the trade talks, that's just laughable. I think that is something that can be ignored completely. Never going to happen this early. I think that honestly, if you want to have a conversation, and I know this is funny because we're talking about the Pittsburgh franchise and how they just continue to disappoint us, I would still argue that it's probably more likely that you're in extension talks than trade talks. Despite everything I just said about them knowing the type of player that they have, I still think that at this point you would definitely be in the extension talk phase and not a trade talk phase if you were Ben Cherington and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Do I think the extension is going to happen? Hell no. I don't think that that's going to happen at all. But I still think that at least right now is more possible in the trade. I think the trade is just it's blowing smoke out of your mouth. There's nothing going on with it. I have a I highly doubt that there's even an inkling or a thought to trade Paul Skenes at this point. Because if you trade Paul Skenes, what does that do for you? How does that make you better in the long run? What, you get a few prospects that could potentially help your rebuild while you're still rebuilding? This goes to the conversation that we had last week when they are rebuilding on top of their rebuild. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Trading Paul Skenes does absolutely nothing for you. It's just a laughable topic to have, especially as serious as is going to be talked about. Eventually, is it going to happen? Abso-freaking-lutely. He is not going to be a Pirate forever. But in year 2, in May, I just think it's a stupid conversation to have.
That was passionate. We're going to play this ad, and then I'll give some more thoughts. Keek? Well, it's me talking about
it's you.
So, Smitty from around the 412 here, and while I may not have much hair, the hair that I do have will not be cut by anybody besides Keek at Keek's Barbershop. My friend Christian Circle, been with us since day one. Keek's Barbershop, located 401 Burkitch Way, Suite 2 in Beaver, PA. Download the app The Cut, book an appointment with Christian today, or you can do walk-in with Tony or Ashley. But again, Keek's Barbershop, 401 Burkitch Way, Suite 2 in Beaver, PA. Go check them out. Old school vibe in there. Absolutely love it. Cannot recommend them enough. Wouldn't go anywhere else. Maybe I'll see you there. I should record Keek like making a commercial for his own thing and play that on here instead of me just talking about.
Maybe we should do that. Get someone at Game Changers to record an ad. Get Keek to record an ad. Get Boots.
Yeah,
to
send me
an ad.
exactly what you want so I don't mess it up. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They'd be that way. Whatever they want to say, they can say. I can't be blamed for it at all. Do their own thing. Yeah, not a bad idea by me on the fly just now. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, this whole conversation, I don't think it happens right now, but that was my entire point. Like, the fact it's even being brought up on national TV is pretty insane to me. And it all started because of Paul Skenes pitching for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, which is awesome for him. As a Pirates fan, I got to look at it cynically and be like, oh, he's going to throw his arm out then at the World Baseball Classic. And then, there goes missed time for the Pirates. But like, that's something he wants to do. It'll be awesome to watch and gives us a reason. Sad. I just thought of this now. The most important baseball that he's going to have played will have been in that. The only meaningful baseball that he's going to have played will have been in the World Baseball Classic since being drafted by the Pirates. Obviously, LSU was important.
Yeah, I was going to say, despite making his MLB debut, I mean, I would argue that the All-Star game last year, just the inning that he started there
right now,
is probably bigger than any other Pirates game he's had.
Mm-hmm. There's not been one like actually meaningful game that he's pitched. So
like if you want to talk about the debut and like some of the great starts, like he's had great starts, but none of them have meant a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to mean a thing until the Pirates franchise actually gets their head out of the sand and does something about it, which they're not going to do. And that goes to, again, we're going full circle. There's no point in being a Pirates fan, but we are Pirates fans. And even though we don't want to be here, we still deliver. We're here every week talking about a team that we don't want to watch and we don't want to talk about, really, because we love you guys. Not even. We just hate ourselves.
I mean, I love doing this. I love doing this podcast, genuinely. And I think it's almost like a therapy session is how I treat it, to talk about this team, because as much as I would just love to shut the fandom off and not care at all, there's always going to be a part of me that's, like I said, I've only finished watching 4 or 5 games this year, but I'm checking the score. They obviously frustrate me enough to air my grievances on this podcast. And to do that, you got to care. So if I didn't care at all, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now the way that we are. I don't see a path forward. Like, that's the thing. They're going to have Paul Skenes as much as they'll Paul Skenes. It's going to be entertaining to watch. Maybe they'll marginally improve the roster around him, but the lack of progress that I think they need to be much further ahead of where they are right now for me to feel like they can juice anything out of this window. Like this would have needed to be a pretty important year. And instead we fired the manager in May and we're talking about moving on from the GM. That's the other part of the conversation to me in terms of trading Paul. Like, again, it sounds even stupid coming out of my mouth. Do you want Ben Sherrington being the one to do that? Like that can't happen this season because I don't want Ben Sherrington being the guy to do that. And then it's going to be interesting on the other standpoint. New GM comes in. I mean, I'm sure going to be fans of Paul Skenes and everything like that, but it's going to be a GM that didn't draft him necessarily. Like, does that become more of a conversation from that standpoint? What if he gets word from Bob Nutting, like, yeah, we think this guy's awesome, but you know, what can we get in return for him? Obviously, we're not going to accomplish anything here with him. So I think that there's both sides of that where it's not a conversation for me right now. It's stupid that's even being brought up, but the fact it's being brought up is a disgrace to the Pirates. I'm really worried about what it could mean in 26, though.
Here is where we have hope as Pirates fans. There's little to no hope, but there is some hope. The current collective bargaining agreement runs through 2026. Maybe by the end of 2026 for the 2027 season, which would be year 4 of Paul Skenes, you see something along the lines of a salary cap implemented that could potentially even the playing field a little bit. I'm not expecting it to ever be even, but maybe there's something implemented that makes the playing field a little bit even. And the way I've always viewed the Paul Skenes contract is that you have him technically for 6 years. I think he'll play 5 in Pittsburgh, and then they'll trade him before that last year of control. Now, maybe it's a little different than that, but like that's just how I viewed it. That's how they pretty much handled Garrett Cole. So I envisioned that this going this similar way. So that means that in 2027 and 2028, you would have 2 more years of Paul Skenes. If there was a change in the CBA and the change of the structure of how MLB financials is operated to potentially improve your team to open up a window under him. Otherwise, if there's no changes to the MLB, which again I said this is a small sliver of hope. I highly doubt that anything changes in between 2026 and 2027. I think that we're just going to enjoy the individual player, and I don't think that anything is going to come out of it. I think there is just no hope.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the best way to put it. But I haven't broken my promise either. I've not been to a Pirate game this year. So
yeah, I'll be home next Saturday.
Yeah,
and
did you know, was that planned? Like, did you know that was North Shore 9's tailgate thing?
No, I didn't.
yeah, North Shore 9's having a tailgate that Saturday.
It was planned because of Memorial Day, not because of North Shore 9.
Did you know about that? Like even before I just said that? Oh, okay.
I didn't know. Like, I mean, I knew they were doing something, but I didn't know that date.
Your boys, the Codys, will both be there, I believe. So, Cody Plain hit me up to go, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go to the Pirate game. And he's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to go to the game. So maybe more of a conversation for me now, but I don't know. We'll see. I got some other stuff that's potentially going on next Saturday.
I just think it's so sad that we've gotten to the point where I'm coming home to Pittsburgh and I'm debating on if I want to go to a Pirate game.
Yeah. Yep. And and if you do go, I know it's not even about the team so much as everything else. Like, obviously being in that stadium.
It's just the stadium and the experience.
Oh, dude. Real quick, we definitely have to mention the Mac Miller bobblehead. That is sweet. That is one thing that the Pirates are doing this year that is definitely a major win.
I have never wanted to, like, if they have a promo of a bobblehead or a shirt or anything like that they give away, I've never been one to like go see if someone is selling that on eBay. I might do it for that bobblehead. I just think it's very unique.
100%. I like the Wiz one ended up going for like $25 on eBay or something like that. Even if the Mac one is double, like I would pay. I think I'll pay anything under $100 to get that. Like it's gonna look sweet. In this room.
I think that it's just it's a niche and unique thing. I'm wondering, did they show a 360 of it? Is it him wearing the 412 jersey on the back?
I didn't see the back.
Because I wonder if that's going to be a
also,
thing. Or I wonder if they're
not
just going
trying
to cease and desist by shot 412. So I don't know. If
not trying to flex, but my friend Quentin is friends with Mac's brother, and he was like, "I'm going to see if I can get you a hookup to get you one of them." We'll see. I don't know if you got that type of connection when it comes to the Pirates and stuff like that. They're pretty stingy, so we'll see. But either way, I am going to get one of those. I don't care what it ends up costing me.
I care more about that bobblehead than I would the Paul Skenes bobblehead.
I agree. Yeah, and that's nothing necessarily against Skenes. That is actually like legitimately.
That's not a negative against Skenes. That's just that is the coolest thing the Pirates have done in years.
Yeah. Yeah, like it just looks good too. I think it's like just a good looking bobblehead. You got the hand tats and everything. So yeah, definitely a fan of that. Big win for the Pirates on that one in a year where there has not been many. Shout out to them for doing that. I think that's awesome. Hopefully, I don't know if he's going to have, like his brother I just mentioned, I don't know if he's going to have family members there at all, if they're going to recognize Mac outside just doing the bobblehead itself with anything during I'm not sure why that date either, or why that opponent.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what comes of it, but definitely very cool. Anything else you want to add?
No, honestly. I hope that the win-loss record goes as well as it does the rest of the season with Donnie Kelly as it did the last week. Because, to be honest, if the Pirates finish 500, I won't complain about it.
Oh, I mean, to finish 500 would be.
Well, no. I don't mean 500 on the season.
With him.
500 under him.
Yeah.
Like if they just went 500 the rest of the way, I think that would be sublime.
And I'm curious,
to watch as a Pirates fan.
I'm curious what that would mean for his status. If he could be the guy going forward. If that was the case, I think he's got to be at least in the conversation and get another interview. But
I mean, he's probably like the cheapest option, so he's definitely a conversation. he's an in-house hire.
Yeah. Anyways, man, I feel like this was actually for people that are just so positive towards the Pirates. They're probably gonna hate this. We bashed them a lot on here and stuff like that. Genuinely felt like this was a pretty good episode, though. Again, I think it was treated kind of like a therapy. A lot of grievances being aired, but it's only because we care. And if you're watching or listening to this episode,
we don't know why.
You probably did too.
There's no reason to.
Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you were here on YouTube. Hit us in the comments with your thoughts on anything that we talked about today. Question for a future episode, all that good stuff. If you're listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever you podcast from, be sure there's a 5-star review. Subscribe over there. Just search around the 412. Do the same thing on all the social media platforms, and you will find us. And whether you're watching or listening, no matter where you're at, check out the description of the show. Links to all of our sponsors over there: Game Changers, GameChanger.la. Pick6.la, save yourself $10 using code AT412 at checkout. Download the app, The Cut, to book an appointment with Keek. You can do a walk-in too with Ashley or Tony if you don't want to book an appointment with Keek over at Keek's. And then, of course, right above Tyler right now, Marcelo Electric, our friend Brandon Marcelo, a.k.a. Boots, his small business. He's serving in Allegheny, Lawrence, Butler, and Beaver counties. Contact him, 724-614-0611. Does residential, commercial, or service calls. Again, 724-614-0611. The link to his Facebook page down in the description. Got that van looking real good. Customized that baby up with his logo and everything like that, and it looks awesome. But Facebook page has a picture of that and also a bunch of work that he's done. I don't know if it's all recent work. I would assume so, but work that he's been doing. Obviously, shout out to Boots. Big leap going out on your own and creating a small business. So shout out to him. But for Smitty, for Tyler, this has been the Around the 412 Pirates show. We'll see you to do another one of these next week for some reason. But until then, take care.